Hey friends, so I'm kind of stopped out here at a different spot out by the lake. It's kind of on a bluff overlooking a couple of different areas. It's really nice. It's closer to the dam, which is down over this way, and so the water down here is really clear. So I like to come down here every now and then. Anyway, I've been thinking about all the things going on around the world, especially over in the Ukraine and Russia, and bothers me because there's so many things going on, so much to know, so many untruths and truths, and things that are said, things are not said. I mean, it just, I don't know how anybody can ever get to the point where they can make sense of it all. Back in the day, back when it was the Soviet Union, of course, it was probably, multiples worse. So I decided I would think about talking about the experiences that some of the people had back in those days. And who else can you go to when you're thinking about those things, rather than Solzhenitsyn? And Alexander, of course, had been caught up in the pogroms, and where Stalin had killed 4 million Ukrainians and shipped a lot of folks off to the gulags. And of course, Solzhenitsyn had written the Gulag archipelago, probably one of those books that is neglected these days, that absolutely should be read, and so that people can get it into their mind, an understanding of man's inhumanity to man. And just kind of to give you a little flavor of that, I wanted to go through some quotes and kind of wet your whistle, so to speak, get you to desire to go and read the Gulag archipelago, hopefully, if you haven't read it already. And if you've read it, go back and revisit it. So I got, maybe 8, 9 quotes here. I'll start out with, "The battle between good and evil runs through the heart of every man." And by man, he means human beings. And that's true. You feel it yourself. You experience it yourself, both internally and externally, from the evil that you had to deal with, and then the evil that often crops up in our own hearts. And then we have to deal with it, right? The next one is, "One man who has stopped lying could bring down a tyranny." Well, maybe I should just leave that one at that. Because tyrannies can only exist under lies. And once somebody reaches a point where they just can't accept the lies anymore, they become that first example. And they may become a martyr because of it. But it shows people that already know that it's a lie, that they just can't accept the lie anymore. And that maybe they should be also standing up It's infectious. Truth is infectious. Because you see what's in your heart and you can't go on with the lie. Next, a man must develop the willpower, subject only to his own reason. So when you think about the strength that you have to have in order to stop accepting the lie and kind of move on to beyond acquiescence, where you know that the lie is a lie, but you don't say anything. And finally, you reach a point where you have to speak up and say something. You must develop the willpower that is subject only to your own reason. It's not an easy thing. Many people have died in order to try to bring down, stop tyranny from happening. Scary. This is a good one. The gut is an ungrateful wretch. It never remembers past favors. It only thinks of tomorrow. So, a lot of people say, oh, listen to your gut, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, true. But your gut is not something that's going to say, oh, because we had this in the past, we don't need as much today or tomorrow. Your gut is basically going to say, hey, not only do we need that, we need better, maybe even more. And so it thinks only of tomorrow. What am I going to eat tomorrow? What am I going to consume tomorrow? And it doesn't just mean in your stomach. It also means in here. I talk to folks all the time, and I'm constantly amazed at the level of ignorance. And I know that ignorance is bliss, and that folks kind of shut out the world in times such as these. Or they take comfort in only listening to those biased voices that say what they want to hear, and then close the rest of it out. But how can you really know? How can you really understand if you're not consuming that broad range of information in order to make the most purposeful and proper decision? Otherwise, your gut isn't going to tell you what's right. Remember, it's subject only to your reason. And if you don't have the information to accomplish proper reasoning, well, you're not going to have good instincts. Here's another one. Violence can only be concealed by a lie. And the lie can only be maintained by more violence. And you wonder why the world is so violent? Because lies are constant. And then the desire to maintain those lies takes an ever escalating and accelerating cacophony of lies to keep it in place. so difficult. But oftentimes, of course, power is based in lies. Lies are based in violence. And so violence is power. And it's very strong. Not as strong as the truth. And certainly, the truth is less difficult to maintain. But it still gives a lot of people the power that they desire to perpetuate the lies. You must fight against them. Otherwise, you become a slave. Here's the next one. We do not err because truth is difficult to see. We err because it is more comfortable. Remember, I just talked about ignorance being bliss and comfort. It's easier to just sit back and just let the world go by, let it deal with itself. That in itself is an error. We've talked about this before. I bear the scars of the battles that I did not fight. Remember, we talked about that a few episodes ago. And oftentimes those scars are far deeper and far worse than what would have happened if you had taken those things on right away, immediately. All right, next. The meaning of earthly existence is only for the development of the soul. So that comes back to, why are we here? I believe this one wholeheartedly. Solzhenitsyn has really hit upon that basic factor of humanity, and maybe the factor as to why the cosmos exists at all. I write about this in some of my books. And I've talked about this in other episodes as well. That the Shinto belief system says that before there was nothing, no matter, no universe. All there was energy, and that energy was cognizant. And it spent an uncalculable eternity alone, because time itself, lineal time, did not exist until it split itself in energetic mitosis. And then those two energetic beings created all of the energetic beings of the cosmos, including your own soul, reaching a point where it got to critical mass and exploding out without consuming the energy. But that kinetic energy created basic matter of the hydrogen atom, one neutron, one proton, one electron. And then those atoms coalescing back together would create megastructures like the sun or larger, even black holes, where those atoms burn in order to create all of the other atomic structures that are out there. So gold, platinum, those heavier atomic structures are literally nothing but burned hydrogen. Just like a diamond is really nothing more than a chunk of dinosaur crap that has been kept under heat and pressure for a long period of time. It always makes me laugh to say that. But so this whole thing, the cosmos, everything, is the meaning for earthly existence is only for the development of the soul. And if that is true, and I believe that it is, then how can you just sit back and be comfortable? How can you allow a lie to persist? How can you allow evil to persist? And if you go back, again, because your willpower is subject only to your own reason, you have to have the requisite knowledge and ability to sort through the extreme amount and myriad of information that is out there in order to come up with answers, to determine the basis of evil. Otherwise, you may end up attacking and going after the wrong things. And instead of stopping evil from happening, you might become the force in which you perpetrate it to continue to exist, or even enhance its ability to harm. Your level of knowledge and its application is going to be that difference between good and evil, harm or help. Lastly, from Solzhenitsyn, God is endlessly multifaceted, like a diamond, okay? And exists in every religion, each of which see some face of God. We've had this discussion many times before. Every religion that's out there believes that it's doing the right thing, or at least the vast majority, right? Who are you to criticize? Who are you to criticize? If you don't have the requisite knowledge and understanding of what other people believe, or even what you believe, because most people go along, the sheeple that they are, they go along with what they've been taught since they were a child, or what their parents told them, or whatever. What the government tells them, what the authorities tell them, who knows, right? They go along. Okay. They accept. Without questioning. And they become part of the energy that perpetrates evil. because they don't have enough understanding to make a proper determination. And oftentimes, when it comes back to religion, they allow things to happen, even in the name of their own religion, that hurt, harm, often destroy others. As if that's what God would want. Anyway, this is getting long. I'm going to leave it at that. Whew. Deep, deep subjects. And things are going on in the world. How do you know good from evil? Anyway, that's it, my friends. I'll chat with you all later. Bye.